I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
I know you want me to not be perfect, but I can't help but being perfect. I mean, that's just who I am.
He literally, ladies and gentlemen, just told us a story about how when he was a kid, his mum pranked him in Spain, so I don't think he's that perfect.
I think I'm pretty perfect. You know what? It's perfect. Is this fucking rum and coke, because it's more rum than coke.
That's how it's supposed to be.
I swear to God, I was pouring this shit. Right, I was. I can use a little bit of alcohol while doing this shit, and I decided to go with rum and coke, and I was like, well, I'll just do a little pussy of rum in my coke. I started pouring, and somehow the bottle started slipping, so it just kept pouring while I was trying to catch the bottle, and then it went up, and like half the glass is fucking rum now.
That's like the same excuse Karens use for why they're drunk at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, the bottle of wine just slipped and I had to empty it into my glass.
I always pour a glass and then drink the fucking rest of the bottle, because...
Yeah, they're like, hey, to the husband, like, hey, Jeff, I left you some, you cunt. Now give me the rest of the bottle. I'm going to go yell at some minorities down at the store.
I used the leftover wine in the glass to just throw at my wife whenever she insults me, which is basically like 25 times a day.
I mean, that's what alcoholic bottles were made for.
What do you expect the way you treat her?
Why do you think they're made of glass, Batman?
They're treat her lovely.
Liquid fun, then you get the weapon when you're done.
She is my queen, and I treat her as such. All right. Let's just do this.
Do you want to know what we're doing today?
Yeah, I'm curious.
All right. Well, today's going to be a battle between you and Batman.
Oh, what?
A battle.
There's no battle here.
It's a quiz battle.
Are you trying to break me and Ali up as friends because you're jelly?
Yep. You're playing for a quiz. The winner gets to hit the other one over the head with a rum bottle.
That will never happen. Ali won't do that to me, and I won't do that to Ali.
I mean, you won't do it to her, but I think the other way could happen.
Yeah, the other way it could happen, but she won't do it, and she won't do it full force. I mean, genuinely, if we're gonna do this, then do it right. Give us a challenge. The loser has to do something, and you get to choose one. Okay, not anything disgusting or shoving shit up your ass. Ali's already an expert, and I'm like, come on now.
What?
The loser has to eat.
Oh, God.
Surströmming, the Swedish pickled herring.
No.
Yes.
Man, apparently the smell makes you vomit. I don't know if I can get that. I don't think I can get that.
We'll bring it on New Year's Eve for you.
Yeah, we'll bring it for you.
Oh, fuck.
Well, I think Andy will win, to be honest, because this quiz is about nukes.
All right. So,
and you've played enough Fallout.
Look, I'll try and find this disgusting thing by next episode. If I lose, I hand over my heart. I will do that on the show next week.
And we will watch you,
Oh, no,
live
that's the
record.
one with the pretty girl that's going.
Okay, we'll do it the week after that one.
No. Dude, losing is losing. Whoever does it,
You know what? You can do it at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
There we go.
So she doesn't
You want to do
away.
an intro, Alex?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. We're already going.
And
Who
why?
cares about the fucking intro? It's done now. They already heard the
it's
music.
not.
Who gives a shit? All right, well, welcome to the At Random podcast. I'm your host today, Alex, and joining me today are the two contestants. We have Andy over there smoking fags and drinking rum and coke. How you doing, sir?
I'm good when I'm drinking rum and coke and smoking fags.
There we go. And then we got Ali over there. How you doing?
I'm good.
That's good. You're going to need to lift your game if you're going to win this one. You have low energy. So, as I said, we're doing a quiz today. At first I was thinking like how to do like a survival guide on a nuclear holocaust. And I was like, fuck that. Let's do a quiz. Let's see if you guys know anything about nukes to begin with. And then as we go, we can discuss some stuff. So there'll be questions coming pretty regularly. I have 15 in total. The loser has to eat that shitty pickled fish. And we're going to see.
All right.
It's multiple choice though. So like it's not like random. I'm going to tell you there's like 3 or 4 answers to pick from for each question.
All right.
And then I'll tally your points. If anyone gets 0, I'll just abort you from the show. I mean, it's impossible. It's multiple
Aiming
choice,
for zero,
including some
here we
yes and
go.
no. Including some yes and no. I mean, statistically, you're going to get something right.
All right.
Let's begin. So, I mean, we've all heard about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? When the Americans, the only nukes ever dropped in warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, the bomb that hit Hiroshima on August 6th, 1945, was the equivalent of 12,000 to 15,000 tons of dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
It destroyed an area of approximately 13 square kilometers or 5 square miles. Like completely obliterated, like
Yeah.
gone, blast zone, and had a 370 meter in diameter fireball.
Yeah.
So
It
obviously,
actually
like
had-
instant.
It actually had the force to imprint somebody's shadow into the walls.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah.
Like some of those things. Okay, so here comes the first question. I hope you're ready to go.
Mhm.
So the question here is: the heat of the fireball produced from an atomic bomb, because they're all roughly the same.
Yeah.
Atomic bomb explosion is approximately what temperature? 871 degrees Celsius, 1,000 degrees Celsius, 3,217 degrees Celsius, or 6,000 degrees. If you want to hear them again, I can tell you them again.
The 3,000 one.
So Ali says 3,000. What about you, Andy?
I'd imagine it like. I know that Thurman burns at a couple of thousand. I'd imagine the first flash I would go towards 6,000.
You would be on the money. First point to
Yeah.
Andy. It was approximately 6,000 degrees Celsius, which is 10,832 degrees
Jesus
Fahrenheit.
Christ,
Because
yeah.
whatever. To put it into perspective, the surface of the sun is 5,505 degrees Celsius. So it was
Okay.
slightly hotter than the surface of the sun.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Yeah. So you can understand why there were shadows imprinted on the ground. Literally like incinerated instantly. So all right, 1 point to Andy. I could better write that down before I forget. Well, he's off to a good start. That rum and coke, giving him the intelligence till about
Stop
halfway
Googling
through.
shit. Get off your
No,
phone.
no.
Yeah, and
I'm
if I
looking,
even consider someone cheated, you have to eat 2 cans.
No, I'm looking up Thurman. All right,
Mm-hmm.
to see how hot
All right.
it burns.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Just go. He's not paying attention. I can get
so
ahead of him.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hiroshima was bombed on the 6th of August. Nagasaki was then bombed on the 9th of August, 1945.
Okay.
Collectively, the death toll estimates, they don't know exactly, but they estimate anywhere from 129,000 people dead to 282,000 dead, like from the immediate impact
The blast.
and the day or two afterwards of people dying from the the radiation poisoning and the burns and things like
fires.
that and the fires. Yes. Now, here is something that I actually never knew, and it's super cool. So in Hiroshima, Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived despite being only 3 kilometers from the original blast site. He was severely burned, was temporarily blind, and burst both eardrums. He survived by jumping and rolling into a ditch when he saw the flash, like instinctually, and got flung in the air and like spun around like he was in a tornado and flung into a field nearby. He survived.
Okay.
He is quoted as saying that he thought the sun had fallen from the sky. Like, literally.
All right. Can I?
And he's done.
Oh god, I just had the best joke in the world. I just figured you would go something like this. He was quoted as saying, "Ah, ah." So basically,
I think that's pretty
that
safe
pretty
to
much
say that
sums
what
up his
happened.
experience. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
So, now we have another question coming up here, Batman.
Ooh, okay.
He returned to Nagasaki and was then present for the detonation in Nagasaki. He was at both and survived
Oh, fuck.
both.
Okay.
Ah.
He only survived because he was in a reinforced concrete stairwell in an office building when the detonation happened.
Fuck.
Hey, get off your phone, Batman. I can see you
I'm
there.
Google Maps.
Okay. I can't see shit. It just looks white, but all right, whatever.
Nah, she's on Google Maps. She's looking up
Whatever.
Hiroshima.
Okay, so this is the question.
Mm-hmm.
How many other people lived through both bombings? Because he was not the only one, it turned out. They did a documentary with him, and then other people came out like, oh, well, I was actually at both as well. So here I'm going to give you some ranges. Okay, so 1 to 75 people, 76 to 150, 151 to 225, or 226 to 300 people.
Are these the both of them combined?
These are people that were at both and survived both events.
Ah.
So if you want to hear those ranges again, I can tell you, but they were in like 75 people increments.
Okay, the 75, 1 to 75.
1 to 75, says Ali.
Same for me.
Wrong.
Okay.
165 people
Wow.
survived
We're
from
at
both.
Both. I mean, man.
Did you... Oh,
But imagine being like, how unlucky this guy, severely burnt, must have just been released out of hospital because they were so like overwhelmed.
But
Goes
did
to
you
this
know,
other city and there it happens again.
Did you know that they weren't supposed to drop the bombs there? They were aiming for the city of Kyoto originally.
Kyoto, yeah.
But it was so cloudy that day that they were like, fuck it,
just
let's go
fuck
away.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, but they literally, they
Just
turned
drop 'em
around
anywhere.
and they were going to drop it in the ocean. But then the sky cleared up a little bit and they were like, fuck it, and dropped the bomb.
Yeah, we're already here. Might as well go wipe out 250,000 people in an instant.
Well, that was the intention.
Oh, it absolutely was. It was to teach them a
There
lesson
wasn't
for Pearl
any
Harbor.
intention on doing this strategically. This was purely
No,
based to
the
destroy
whole-
as much as fucking possible.
To kill as many people as possible and to
Yeah.
show the Russians this is what we have to play with.
No,
it
it
was
was to show the
yeah,
Japanese.
yeah.
because
No, but the Japanese
bombed
had
Pearl
already
Harbor.
surrendered, pretty much surrendered by that
Yeah,
point.
but they
at the
bombed
war.
Pearl Harbor, so everyone's like, we're gonna
Pearl
get
Harbor.
you back.
This
No,
one-
but the whole
I-
thing is it's a fucking cock contest with the
it's-
fucking Russians to show who has the
it's
biggest
a
dick.
power display, of course it is.
Yeah, and like straight after the bombs were dropped, there's an Oppenheimer, I think it was, who came out and was like, I regret ever working like with nuclear.
Yeah.
He's like, once I saw what it could do, he's like, and then they all became like anti-nuclear.
Well, the
like,
guy that
second it got dropped.
because there were two people, I can't remember their fucking names now. The ones that actually like knew, like saw the thing where the atom splits, like
Yeah.
they actually created the theory of
Yeah, I think
an
that's
atom bomb.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And
What's the girl's
I
name?
can't remember someone else.
But Oppenheimer almost killed himself.
You should have.
As you probably would when you're fucking around with like not really understanding what you're doing with radioactive technologies. But okay, let's push on. As I said, so 165 people survived both. Quite staggering. I don't know how unlucky. Are you unlucky or lucky? I'm not really
Fucking
sure.
unlucky.
I think you're unlucky because these people probably didn't live that long.
Oh, the Yamaguchi guy, I think he must be dead now, but he did a documentary in like 2005, so he lived more or less his full life. I don't know how many
Jesus,
others
okay.
did.
Yeah, him and his 5 feet.
Yeah. What most people, I think, know is that the bomb dropped in Nagasaki was actually bigger than the one on Hiroshima. It was about 60% larger, but it actually did less damage because Nagasaki is surrounded by hills on both sides, and they sort of helped stop the blast.
It's odd though that the explosion of that size would just be like stopped by a puny mountain because dropped on that mountain would probably be gone.
Probably, yeah. But it's insane. They think it was basically purely because it was in that valley that it wasn't. I mean, it's still pretty bad, but not as bad. Hiroshima got fucked much more than Nagasaki.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Question number 3 for you.
Okay.
What percentage of people died in Hiroshima as a result of the bombing? So, like, of the percentage of their whole population.
Oh. Okay.
29%, 12%, 83%, or 54%?
Wait.
The 20 option, I would say.
You're going to go 29
Yeah, 29.
for Ali? Okay.
I'm gonna go 54. Seems a little
54
bit
for Andy.
low. Yeah.
Ali
Because-
is correct.
Oh shit! Okay, wow, that's actually less than I would think.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Man, like, didn't almost everyone die? But I think there's a lot of misconceptions. Like it's a nuke, right? Everyone's just dead.
Yeah,
it's
like the first flash killed like a couple of how many millions in the first?
Not millions.
It killed like tens of thousands, I think.
Jesus Christ!
Like just still, like that, and then in the days after the radiation
that's like the
poisoning,
coronavirus in like 3 fucking seconds.
Yep. It's insane. Yeah. Okay, and then on the back of that, how much percent do you think died in Nagasaki? We have 63%, 27%, 24, or 38.
So Nagasaki was the one with the hills on both sides.
Yes, correct.
24.
I'd go higher there. It probably did less damage overall. I'm gonna go. What was it? 39.
38.
38. All right, I'm gonna go 38. I'll tell you why. There's you're basically in a pit. So I'd imagine that the first piece of damage that would have been done if the blast wasn't able to like fully spread towards the side, that it would like sort of turn back into itself. Mm-hmm. And that would create an effect which would get the first casualties higher, but the overall damage lesser.
Yeah. I
see my logic here? All right.
I see your logic, but you're still wrong. Ali's right.
Okay, cool.
It was 24%. So she's now in the lead, 2 points to 1. She apparently knows more about morbid topics than you.
Yeah, that's what you get when you kill babies.
Oh,
yes, that's true. So yeah, just to summarize, 29% of the population in Hiroshima died and 24% in Nagasaki, which is still that's just like
still 24%,
like a
of the
quarter of
population.
someone's the city's population. Just see you later.
For 2 bombings, it's not that bad. I mean,
well, for just 2 bombs, it's pretty bad though. Like compared to the other bombs.
Do we have a price check on a nuclear bomb? Like, would the Ad Random podcast be able to buy one to do some good in the world?
We can ask the Russians, because I'm about to tell you a nice little story that's going to warm your hearts.
Cool.
So the largest known detonated nuke. So keep in mind, okay, the smaller one that was in.
Can I tell you the name of the one that was dropped?
No, I'm asking you later. You better not be Googling.
I'm not Googling. My phone is over there.
Okay, good. No, but the small one in Hiroshima was 12 to 15,000 tons of dynamite equivalent. And I think the one in Nagasaki was about 23,000. The biggest detonated nuke ever, like known to have been detonated, was detonated, of course, by the Russians in 1961. It's called the Tsar Bomba. 50 million tons of dynamite. 3,000 times the size of the one that blew up Hiroshima.
It's definitely more than 5.
Yeah. That bomb, the Tsar Bomba, is like the equivalent of all the explosive in World War II times like 200 or something.
Times 10.
Times 10.
10 times all of the other munitions ever shot in World War II put together. 10 times the power.
I cannot wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
That is like...
Yep. So that's a 50 megaton bomb, whereas the other ones were in the kilotons that were dropped in Japan in World War II. So yeah, 10 times the munitions used in World War II, like put together from everyone.
Those airplanes kept flying.
Oh, the guy that
they go so high and they just, see you later, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
The guy, Nicholas something, the guy that dropped the Tsar Bomba, like they dropped it with a parachute, so it would give him enough time to try to fly away.
Okay.
But he still crashed from the explosion, but he managed to somehow...
Fuck, what a champion of the people of Russia.
Like that
and
explosion...
a destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, that explosion was so, like, the impact of the bomb, like, the blast was so, like, strong that it shattered windows all the way to Finland and Norway.
Can I say
drop this
a
in
very
Siberia
controversial thing about the nuclear bomb here for a second?
Go for it.
I don't think it was that bad.
Oh, the ones dropped in Japan.
Yeah.
No, I don't think not as bad as.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I don't feel like the nuclear bomb. If a nuclear bomb falls in Belgium, boom, Belgium's gone. I'm gone. My kid's gone. My wife's gone. All in a moment of a fucking flash, and that's fine. You die, you fucking vaporize in a matter of a second. There's no pain involved. There's no suffering
It
involved.
depends how far away from the blast you actually are. That's the problem.
True. And you know the Fallout games, why the guy is doing this? If the explosion is larger than your thumb, you're within the radiations. You're within the radiation zone.
And don't look at the fucking explosion.
Yeah. But so, if I were to choose a bomb to die from, the nuclear bomb would be a fine choice. I would say it's like the caviar of bombs, in some sorts.
Have you seen pictures from people surviving the bombing in Nagasaki and Hiroshima?
Yeah, but that's when you survive. That's when you're not lucky.
Yeah, I think
right?
Andy's saying he wants to die from it.
Yeah. Do you know what the Americans have done with fire bombs, with the fire barrels? The oil barrels, light them on fire and just chuck them out of a plane. If that falls on your kid, he's not having a pleasant death.
Or like
So,
napalm.
As
It's like
far as
sticky
war
fire.
goes, if it's like a zap gone situation, I'm all for it. Like
That's
because
pretty
we're
true.
talking we're not talking about military people here. We're talking about random civilians who had nothing to do with the war because
Yeah.
they didn't make those decisions. The governments do, and like these people get involved somehow for fuck knows reasons. But like you get if Afghanistan and Iraq and shit like that, that shit that went down there is fucking 10 times worse than whatever, like the torture and the fucking fire barrels and whatever they're doing. Like nuclear fucking bomb for me.
And you have
Thank
like
you very
phosphorus
much.
bombs in Syria that like
Oh, yeah.
literally like
Oh yeah,
eat,
yeah.
like burn away your flesh. But
Yeah.
okay. So that Tsar bomber, to put into perspective of how powerful it was, from 100 kilometers away from the blast zone, or 62 miles, you would still get third-degree burns if you were outside. 100
Ow.
kilometers away.
Jesus, all right,
Third-degree burns. It's insane.
okay.
But of course, the Russians
And here
That-
I am being afraid of my skillet when I throw like.
put bacon in there. You're like, you
Yeah.
motherfucker, like burning me. Fuck you.
Oh god.
But, you know, the Russians, why would they stop there, right? So they are currently working on something called the Poseidon, which is a 100 megaton, so double that, nuclear torpedo.
But that's another thing about the Tsar bomber, because it was originally thought to be like double what it actually ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, Russia was so afraid that obviously they would get radiated from dropping that nuke, so that it didn't do it. That's why they made it only half as strong.
Yeah, but now the Russians like, fuck it, we know better, we do it. Let's go, comrade, we make Poseidon. 100 megatons, they're building it, right? Like they're working on it currently, as of 2020, since like 2015. Putin very proudly
why?
came out and was like, haha, well, I don't know. Then they got the biggest dick again, right?
Why?
Then we got the biggest nuke. I
Just
don't know,
make a
man.
new virus. Fucking.
True. It basically, if you fired this at New York City, 8 million people would die, like instantly. Just like
Jesus,
gone.
okay.
It'd be like a crater. Like the whole place would just be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
God damn. Okay.
Now we're going to go into a little bit about how like devastating nukes are. Because like you would assume, right? Say if a nuke's 1,000 times more powerful, it would do 1,000 times more damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully they don't quite. So
Okay.
a nuke about 1,000 times as powerful does about 130 times as much damage. I don't know how they calculated this, but someone's got paid to do this.
Yeah.
So thankfully, even if they dropped that, what is it, the Poseidon, if they ever shot that, I guess it's only going to blow up like half of your city. There's a positive.
Fair enough.
There's a
Fair
positive, you know? I mean, if it's going to be shot at you. Basically, one of the biggest problems with nukes, which I think we here probably all know, is like you get hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of times your annual radiation exposure in like an instant. And that's why you get radiation sickness. Like you get
Okay.
like the whole amount you would get in your year if you added, you know, from the sun and computers and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get that amount times like 1,000 in like a split second from the gamma rays just like hitting you. And that's why most people generally die if they don't die in the fire or the like debris flying around hitting them if they're in the shockwave,
Yeah.
which makes sense. So there's sort of 5 stages or elements to a nuclear explosion. Do any of you know what they are? This isn't a real question, but do any of you want to have a guess at like what they are? as in like 5. There's like the fireball, so there's one in the middle, and then you have like as you
The
go further
mushroom
out.
cloud.
Yeah, I guess that's sort of part of it, but that's not.
I'd go. First contact, which is the flash.
The fireball. That.
A fireball, the heat. Then I'd go sound, because like that sound wave of that thing must do some massive fucking damage.
Yeah. Well, that guy, like I said, the Japanese guy, he was 3 kilometers away and ruptured both his eardrums.
Yeah.
And that was a relatively small nuke by modern standards.
So sound wave must be something that does damage as well. After that, so number 4 would have to be the like debris flying around, I guess. And number 5 would be radiation.
Shit, you're not that far off from what.
What about
sort of list
the
is.
light from the? Because people can get blinded by just looking at the brightness.
Yeah, apparently I've heard that if you closed your eyes, you that it wouldn't do anything. It just
because it's like pure white light.
yeah.
I've heard the same. I couldn't find any. I didn't want to go too deep in it too because I wanted to make it more like a quiz, a bit more fun. But okay, so when I was watching this video, which actually is really cool, it's on a YouTube channel called Debunked. It's like the first response to a nuclear attack or something. Worth checking out. Like they do a cool job. Like they've researched a lot of stuff and interviewed people and worked this stuff out. Yeah. So it's sort of the first phase, of course, in the immediate place is the fireball. Like we said, the heat of the sun literally melting you and everything in its path.
Yeah.
Then around that, you have what they call the super shock wave.
Yeah.
Which is about 2 to 3 times the radius of the fireball. So out from the fireball. So if the fireball is like 100 meters radius, then it's like 200 or 300 meters. You have like a super shock wave. And that basically is enough to...
So I'm still on point here, right?
Yeah. You're pretty much, So, and this will collapse basically any building, more or less.
Are we talking kilometers more than meters, actually?
With a modern bomb, yes. But in this example, they used the one from Hiroshima. But yeah, I mean, if you dropped the Tsar Bombay, it would be, much, much bigger. The super shockwave will like destroy basically every building. Humans can actually survive that, but the problem at that point is the hurricane-like winds throwing giant cinder blocks of cement and metal at you.
Yeah.
You'll probably die. Yeah, the debris will probably kill you.
Yeah.
Like so, basically, almost guaranteed death if you're in either the first or the second zone. Third zone is like the medium shockwaves. It starts to weaken a little. That's about 5 times the radius of the fireball. So you're starting to get out pretty far already. Most residential buildings, like say a house or our apartment block we live in, would probably collapse. Big like superstructures would probably survive, like really reinforced buildings. You will have extensive injuries to any survivors, but you can again survive this. So around here they start to see survivors around this sort of third zone. Then the fourth one, you have the extreme radiation zone, which is 6 to 7 times the radius of the fireball.
All right.
So here you have a 50 to 90% death rate from radiation poisoning, which of course is incredibly painful. If anyone's seen the Chernobyl series on HBO, just to show a dramatized version of what that would do to you. But basically you can die anywhere within a few hours to several weeks or even months after being exposed, where your cell walls literally just like rupture and you get internal bleeding, vomiting, your hair falls out, your skin, I think I read something like your skin can look like it's healing for a week or two and then just like basically collapses and get like necrosis because it's actually died from the inside and you get like muscular atrophy. It's horrible. You don't want this. Okay. And basically, so if you were in a nuclear explosion and you started vomiting within like a few hours of it, you're basically dead.
Oh, okay. Cool.
At that point, you've had so much radiation, you might as well don't touch anybody. Just admit that you're going to die and like fuck off in the corner and die by yourself.
Just lay down somewhere.
Yeah, just lay down. Don't let anyone touch you, and just accept your fate.
No, let as much people as you want touch you, because if you go down, take some with you.
Of course.
Why, if you have to go down to hell, why not go there to legend? That's all I'm saying.
True. Why not just irradiate everybody? Why not be those
touch all the puppies. Every puppy I come across, I fucking touch it. Yeah, come here, golden retriever puppy. You're looking cute. Let me melt
Andy
your
just
face
wants
off.
to hope that a few people survive so they become ghouls from Fallout.
Yeah.
Like nose is like half melted off, like skin's all fucked up.
Yeah,
so that's the extreme radiation.
Put that tune in my ears from I'm the type of guy who can always get a girl.
So yeah, you don't want to be here. And then sort of the outer zone is the thermal radiation, so the heat. Because obviously that fireball, even if it's 7 times the radius of the fireball, so the fireball is still far away, but it's the heat of the fucking sun. So if you're anywhere nearby, basically
it's basically the sun on Earth.
Yeah, literally, pretty much, yeah. And again, you're guaranteed 3rd-degree burns, and even sort of a few times outside of this, so like double or triple the radius, you can still get 1st and 2nd-degree burns because obviously the heat is just so hot. So yeah, if you're anywhere within these 5 zones, basically just accept like you're dead.
Okay,
that's sort of what I gathered from this. Up to a 90% death rate, you're not looking too good. And even if you survive, you're probably fucked. And I don't think the hospital is going to be existing because they're usually in downtown, and that's probably where they bombed.
Yeah,
so you might be in trouble. One of the things that they're really worried about more, because we always, the doomsday is about Russia dropping a nuke in warfare, right? But the most likely scenario is that a terrorist organization makes some improvised nuclear device, right?
Yeah.
That's probably that's actually what the US at the minute is trying to change their planning for nuclear events, because it used to be all about, in the Cold War, the Russians.
Yeah.
But now they're actually more worried about these little terrorist cells basically getting and making nukes. And so they're trying to change their strategy. And they calculated that a 10 kiloton device, which is about 75% as big as the Nagasaki bomb, would have a 10 to 20% kill rate.
Wait, hold on. 75% bigger or 75% of what it would be?
Yeah, 75% of the size.
Yeah. So
not
3/4. 3/4
exactly.
of a normal. Okay.
Yeah. So up to 8 miles or 13 kilometers away from the detonation, it would still have a kill rate of 10 to 20%. So I would say that's why authorities are so worried, if a terrorist organization got it. And this was according to some guy called Irvin Radliner. He's a director of National Center for Disaster.
If Irvin says something, he's on the money.
Exactly. Okay, so now we're coming back to question time.
Right.
Ali's got a 2-1 lead.
Not for long. This one is mine.
What were the names of the 2 nukes dropped in Japan?
I know one of them.
Were they? I'm going to tell you. I got the 4 things: Little Boy and Fat Bastard, Little Man and Fat Boy, Little Boy and Fat Man, Little Bob and Fat Mike.
Little Boy and Fat Boy. Or what is it? The Fat Boy, I know, is the correct one.
Okay.
Can you repeat them again for me?
I sure can. Your choices are Little Boy and Fat Bastard, Little Man and Fat Boy, Little Boy and Fat Man, or Little Bob and Fat Mike.
I'm going to go with the second one. I think Ali was right.
Okay.
I gave that away too quickly.
No, you didn't. I remember Little Boy being used.
So just to clarify, the second one was Little Man and Fat Boy.
Little Man. Yeah.
Ah, fuck. Now you're making me doubt.
I can type them in chat if you want to just read them. If that will make you...
No, you know what? First choice, and Ali is pretty convinced that it's that one. So
you both say Little Man and Fat Boy? You're both wrong.
No.
Yeah,
it's Little Boy and Fat Man.
Fuck. Shit.
It is.
God. I knew it.
It's Little Boy.
Fat Boy.
No, it's Little Boy and Fat Man.
No, it's Little Boy and Fat Man. Yeah, because you know what? In the Fallout series, which I referenced the song towards, they use a nuclear device, which is called a Fat Man. I fucking should have known this. Fuck you.
What a peasant. So Ali still leads 2-1 after, I think, 5 questions. 4.
Yeah, I'm not eating that fish. That's going to change quickly.
Sure? Are you sure?
No. I'm sure.
I literally just Googled Fat Man, and it is. Trust
Fat
me.
Man. What am
Yeah, trust me, I know.
Man.
God damn it, I should have changed it. You know what? It's a show for something. Now we got to make it interesting for a listening audience.
And now we're coming into some in the scenario. So, okay, you ready?
This was the one question that I was like, I know I got this.
And then the second you said it, I know
you fucked it up for me too. I blame my loss of
At least
points.
you didn't get a point, and I'm still ahead of you.
If I didn't listen to you, I would have fucking gotten this.
See, but don't listen to me then.
Yeah,
I'm
not
still
gonna
ahead
listen
of
to
you
Trust me,
anyway.
Andy, I don't listen to her. It doesn't
Shut
get
the
me in
fuck
much
up.
trouble.
No one's talking to you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to you anymore because you know nothing, Jon Snow.
Okay, so put on your like a little scenario hat here.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first thing you should do if you see a nuclear flash? So you see the bright light. So you're not in the immediate zone, but what should you do? Should you lie flat on the ground covering your head? Take shelter behind a structurally sound object? Go to the top floor of a building or go hide in a car?
Hide behind a structural building.
Structural object?
Structural object. Structural
Okay.
object.
Andy?
So, lying flat on the floor.
Yeah, either literally
Structural
drop to the
objects.
ground, cover your head, go hide behind something structurally sound like a concrete wall or something, go to the top floor of a building, or hide in a car.
All right, I'd say going to the top of a building, you won't have time for that. Getting in the car, no way that's happening because, like, you got rubber, you got fucking metal, you got glass. Everything's gonna melt anyway. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I don't know jack shit about this, but I'm gonna say you lay down on the floor and cover your head. I'm gonna tell you why. If you're in an open area, nothing's gonna fall on you. If you're by a sound structural whatever, it's gonna be blown away anyway. You're gonna be covered in debris. You're gonna fucking die. If you're in an open field, lying down, you might have a chance because nothing is gonna fall on you. So that's my reasoning. There you go.
Okay.
Give me that point, buddy. Give me.
According to both Jeff Schlegelmilk
Yep, that sounds
and
right.
Brooke Buttermeyer, you should hide behind a structurally sound object.
Oh, fuck
So
off.
Ali goes 3-1.
Am I 2 points
You need
behind?
to cover your head and cover like any
I don't want.
skin that
I
is
seriously
exposed.
don't want to eat that fish.
Dude, you don't.
I don't want to.
No,
do
it smells
Oh,
worse than it
God.
tasted. It tasted isn't that bad. But I'm just gonna say something though. If anything, we should be listening to the dude that actually survived 2 nuclear blasts, and that dude was
Okay.
in a fucking ditch in a field.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, option 1 sounds better. But according to these
Hey,
2
there you go.
experts, it's
Yeah,
actually
but
I
it's
get
obviously
the point.
nah, you get nothing. I'm going by the experts here. I mean, I'm just me. You know, these guys actually do. I mean, one's for the radiation safety specialist, and another guy works for the government in the US or something.
Yeah, but what did they know? They never survived anything. The guy on the fucking field knows the thing. So
And true,
you know.
they probably live in a
saying.
country that dropped the nuke. They weren't in the country that
I
experienced
think
it, so
I
maybe they don't know.
at least deserve half a point.
Nah,
No,
Like a quarter.
Dude, you
of
got-
a
you got
point.
time,
Like
you got
just
time.
some.
you got time. There's plenty more questions. There's like 7 more to go.
Look at your smug fucking face. Look
Yeah,
at
get rid
look
of
at
that
that
smug
smug fucking face.
Okay, you guys ready for the next one?
why did he look off? Did you get that pissed? Did you?
Yeah,
his
look
computer
at
does
that.
that
Look at that smug fucking face right there. Oh, so happy. It's 2 points in. Yeah.
All right,
All
you
right,
guys.
come
you ready
on.
for the
Let's
next
keep
one?
it going.
Yeah, sure.
Next question, please.
Okay, so you've survived the initial blast and all that. How long do you have after the blast and the shockwave before the nuclear dust fallout begins to come back down to the ground? So once the mushroom cloud goes up
Oh.
and it all cools down, all the dirt comes back down and the ash. So how long do you have before that radioactive dust basically comes
Is this
back?
multiple choice again, or is this
Yes,
just
yes.
general
No,
question?
multiple
Okay.
choice. So you have an hour, 2 hours, 10 to 15 minutes, or 30 minutes.
I'll let him answer first because he keeps complaining that I get into his head.
That's you getting in his head by doing that. I like it.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna say 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 10 to 15 minutes because I think actually it might be 30 minutes. Fuck.
Make your
No.
choice.
Yeah, I'm making a choice here.
10 to
Making
15?
the choice not to eat the fish. It's 10 to 15
All right,
minutes,
I'll
please.
lock it in. 10 to 15 for Andy.
30
Hour?
minutes.
30 minutes
I would
for
say
Ali.
30 minutes to an hour, but yeah. Obviously, depending on how far away you are, but yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Mr. Belgium gets the point. 10 to 15 minutes.
Fuck yes! Yes! Fuck you!
Keeping in mind,
All right.
you will be blind if you've seen the flash, or
No,
even
no, that's okay. That's okay. This is
but
okay.
this is
as
just
long
some
as I don't
stats.
have to eat fish.
These are just some
That's all that
stats.
matters.
You'll be blind for up to a minute. like you have temporary blindness. If it happens at night, this is fucked up. If it happens at night, you will be blind for up to 35 minutes.
Jesus.
But that's fine. I mean, you're still surviving.
Well,
And then you have
but
10
you've
to
got
15 minutes to get in undercover
Yeah, and you're fucking
to hide
blind.
from the fucking radiation rain coming down at you.
and you're probably very
blind.
disoriented.
I'd make
because
it. I'd make it.
Your
Your
eardrums,
are
ruptured.
blown. You can't hear. You can't see.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
You
and
know
you're
what?
you.
You don't,
so
you
you're
don't know
extra
my
fucked.
life. You don't know my life. I can make it.
Okay. So here's a random question for you that you're going to learn something here.
What's the score? Hold on. What's the score?
2 points to Andy, 3 to Ali.
Okay.
We got we still got like 8 questions to go. You got time. You got time.
No. I'm good.
Okay. How many bomb shelters has Switzerland built? Is it 250,000, 100,000, 10,000, or 25,000?
I'm gonna go with 25.
25,000 for Andy?
Because in the hundreds, it seems so much. Like, and that's an excessive amount. And Switzerland has been neutral, right? That's the neutral country.
Yep. Correct.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 25.
Batman?
What were the options again? Can you give them to me?
250,000, 100,000, 10,000, or 25,000.
I would say 100,000.
Both wrong. 250,000
It is.
they built.
It's a ridiculous
Why?
amount.
They
yeah.
can fit their entire population in bunkers. I think like every like apartment block must have one. Every like building in the city must
But
have like
why?
an underground.
You guys are neutral.
I
Why?
don't know,
Why be
man.
that?
A quarter of
Is-
1,000,000 bomb shelters they built.
Isn't there like the nuclear
Nuclear.
Nuclear.
okay, that like the commission, like the ones that actually put the regulations and stuff is placed in Switzerland.
Yeah, but everyone's based in Switzerland because they have
Yeah.
all the money.
Yeah. No, but my friend Sana was telling me because she went to Switzerland last summer, and they went up like driving in the mountains, and she's like, there's so many abandoned like bomb shelters in like in the mountains.
Why is she not going in there and like?
Oh no,
grabbing
they went
everything she
into
can?
a few. There's one. There's
Is there,
one
is there
dude.
shit in there that she can sell
No,
or
but
shit
it's
like
no.
that?
It's just like
It's like a concrete building
Yeah.
for
It's
people
just
to
a
shelter in.
structure. There's
Yeah.
nothing like. It's
No.
is it the idea of find your own bunker if something happens and
Sort
live in
of.
it?
Yeah, I think so. It's like get to the nearest shelter and we know there's
So
enough.
basically, Switzerland. Wait, I don't get it then because back in the How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse episode, how did not a single one of you decide to go to Switzerland? Because that seems like a pretty good survival rate sort of deal over
Just
there.
saying,
You
to
got
get
your
there
own
from
bunker?
Sweden, I got to go through Denmark, all of Germany, and then go through like the Alps and shit with zombies all in the way. And I imagine
Oh, okay.
German zombies are probably very efficient, and I'm probably done.
And very well dressed, if I may add.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but she was telling the story that there was one guy that had a bunker like on a mountain, and like on top of this mountain they built a hotel. So he has like an elevator that goes up from his bunker.
So he has a secret lair. He's like
Yeah.
a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
that's
goes up
so
to the
fucking
elevator, like
cool.
up
That
to the
is
hotel,
amazing.
and he's the only one that can access that. I need to pause. I need to go pee.
What a greedy fuck. Doesn't let anyone else up there. What if he dies? She just said he's the only one who has access if we keep this in.
Look, Alex, I'm gonna send you 50 euros on PayPal if you give me the answers, like 3 good more answers
I'm just
right
saying.
now.
The rest, there's quite a few coming up. But just no, they're multiple. There's like yes and no, a few of them coming up. If she just has to get one wrong, you get it right. It's no problem.
All right, cool.
Problem. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 more questions, but they're pretty light.
Keep this in. Just keep this in.
Yeah, no.
Let the people know how schemy I am.
She doesn't listen to these recordings anyway very often, so she won't even know until like 2 months down the line.
All right. Oh, she's back.
Yes, business stuff. I'm a
Hey,
businessman.
hey.
Yes, Mr. Business
There
stuff.
she is, pretty pea girl. How you doing?
Good.
Should I get a point because I was closer to the answer than Andy was?
Mate, I gave you 4 options.
That doesn't happen. We play fair or we don't play at all.
Did you go to your math teacher in high school? Like, I got a multiple choice wrong. Can I get a point? I was close.
Very close to the answer,
Please, Mr. Teacher, man. All right, so yeah, basically Switzerland, they got their shit together. Because when I think of these bomb shelters, I always think the nutters in the US, like doomsday prepping, right?
Oh yeah.
But only 2% of US households have a bomb shelter.
But tell me that this is not just a guy thing from my end, but how fucking cool is a secret bunker, though?
I want to see.
I mean, that dude in the mountain,
I
would
want
love
a fucking secret bunker.
When we get our house, I'm building a bunker.
Yeah, but dude, we don't live in the Swiss
I
Alps.
am the same fucking way. I am digging out my back garden, and I'm gonna place a secret fucking tunnel somewhere just so I can hide in it and masturbate. I know nothing's gonna happen in my life. But at least I'll have my masturbation shack
filthiest
with
porn in there.
stale socks in it.
And you know what?
Filled
you might as well
with stale
capture some gimps as well before the apocalypse, so then you can have a bit of fun, being a dungeon master.
Yeah, who were they again? The guys that with the M lady tapes. Who were that again?
I don't think we watched the same type of
Can't
pornography.
remember. Yeah, that's serial rapists and serial killers that once did that.
Lovely.
Make a bunker and shit like that. Make it into a torture room. On that note, let's continue with the explosive episode.
Yes. So to address the question before, we said about the fallout, we have 10 to 15 minutes. Whatever you do, if you're ever in this situation for some reason,
Don't get in a car.
Do not go in a car or a motorhome. Because the glass...
Why exactly?
The glass and the metal are not thick enough, so radiation easily penetrates. So the gamma rays just go straight through.
Because my reasoning was that it would melt, and I'd basically have molten glass on my legs.
I guess...
And molten metal just fucking drooping down my shoulders.
No, I think this scenario is based say if you're a bit more on the outskirts. It wasn't...
Okay.
But you're I'm going to hide from the dust clouds coming down. Because obviously that cloud disperses pretty bigger than the blast zone.
All right.
But whatever you do, the gamma rays will go straight through because it's nowhere near thick enough, and you will get radiation poisoning. And obviously potentially die, depending on how bad. So whatever you do, don't go in a car or a motorhome. They are not good protection. What you should do instead... Oh, wait, I need to make sure this isn't a question. Because I don't remember them all. Oh, well, I just said one. That was a question. Well, too bad. I'll add another one at the end. Okay, so obviously, instead of doing a car or a motorhome, you should find a basement or a large multi-story building. Preferably more concrete or brick layers, the better. Do not go in modern skyscrapers with big glass walls for obvious reasons.
Right.
Or any old wooden houses and things made out of plasterboard because they're not really suitable to stop radiation. You basically want as much mass in between you and outside where this dust is falling. And of course, a subway system, if you're in a big city, good option.
How fast does that dust work, though? Is it the moment it hits you?
Yeah. There's a question coming up where you'll learn some more about that.
Okay, cool.
If you were... Okay, so you've made it inside a building, inside a tall building. Let's say it's got 20 floors, right? This is a question, by the way. If you're in a tall building, which part of the building is safest? The basement, the middle, or the top?
The middle.
Middle, says Batman.
I'm gonna say basement.
Andy says basement. Ali gets the point. It is the middle.
Fuck off, Jesus.
It is the middle. And so she's up 4-2.
But if she's in the fucking middle surviving, then I must be surviving in the basement as well, right? Because the basement is the last place where shit's gonna fall down.
But the problem with the basement is now you're underground, and once all that dust settles, they usually have little windows or whatever, and dust can start coming in that way. And dust settles on the ground, so just outside of where you're sitting, there's radiation on the ground right out above. Because most basements aren't necessarily many meters underground. Some are, just underneath the surface. So you're actually still quite close to the radioactive dust. Whereas when you're in the middle of a tall building, say 10 floors up in the middle, say in a room, in an elevator shaft, for example, you're really well sheltered from dust. And you can seal off doors and windows and all that. And you can actually help protect yourself a lot better. And obviously on the top I mean, you're a fucking idiot, because that's where the radiation and the dust is going to settle.
Mm-hmm.
As a, probably anyone with a brain could work out. So I'm glad neither of you said the top. At least you're not completely suicide. I mean, I think the basement, you could probably survive.
4-2 now?
Yeah, it's 4-2.
Fuck.
But we're coming up to a couple yes-nos, so all she has to do is get a couple wrong, and you're back in the game.
Is this because I don't based all my facts on fucking Fallout?
Okay, so why
You
don't they
don't
make
know
a
me.
Fallout Switzerland game?
You
They have so
do.
many fucking bunkers. What are you doing, Bethesda? Give me money, I'll write the game for you. It's better than Fallout 76, I'll tell you that.
Anything is better than
Scrubs.
that shit. And I don't even like games, and I know that game sucks.
It sure does.
I started playing House Flippers, and it's fucking fun. Just saying.
Okay. And on that rather sad note, let's keep going. So, if for any reason you happen to be trapped outside when Fallout
Alright.
starts falling down, so when this dust starts, the first thing you should always do is cover your mouth and nose and close your eyes.
Yes.
Close your eyes. Do not open them. Do not walk around with them open. Stumble around if you have to, but do not open them. Because
Yes.
obviously that's how it will penetrate into your
That's the
bloodstream
point for
and
me.
kill you.
Cover your skin.
As we said before, if you begin vomiting, it's a sign of acute radiation poisoning. Probably death if it's in the immediate aftermath, if it's maybe like
So
a week
not
or
a
two
normal
later.
radiation poisoning. It's acute.
That's what they
radiation
call it. Yeah,
poisoning?
that's what radiation poisoning is called.
It's a very
called
cute. I got cute radiation
acute
poisoning.
radiation poisoning.
I cute radiation poisoning all my life.
But if you're not vomiting, then what you should always do when you find shelter, remove all your clothing carefully. Most important, do not run and throw it off. Do it very carefully. Put it in a plastic bag, seal the plastic bag, and throw it as far away from you as you possibly can. Obviously, without going outside if you're inside. Put it in a corner and never touch it again, because those clothes will be heavily irradiated.
Yeah, and if you throw like a girl, just put it down on the ground and run away as fast as possible.
Yeah, but that's
because,
probably a better
I know some people have that issue.
Yeah. So because doing this by actually taking your clothes off can remove up to 90% of the radioactive material that's on you. But of
Why
course,
is it that most serious situations in life can be solved by taking off your clothes? Like you get chased by a bear, throw off your clothes. Like that's a genuine thing. You need to throw off your clothes. Because then the bear can eat you and think, oh, this one doesn't have a wrapper. And then
yeah.
No, but genuinely, if you throw your clothes, it'll stop the smell of the clothes and then you can get farther away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently with nuclear bomb fucking drops, first thing I'm doing is running down the streets in my fucking nude.
Well, I mean,
No, you
probably
don't do
nothing
that.
but
well, then
socks.
you're gonna die anyway.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If they ever dropped a nuclear bomb in Sweden in summer, all the Swedes would be fucked because everyone basically runs around
Yeah.
half naked.
Okay.
I guess so this taking off your clothes is once you're inside.
Mm-hmm.
Not outside.
So you don't immediately from
No,
you see
no.
the flash.
Get to
you
your
don't throw
shelter.
clothes.
Yeah, close
Then-
your eyes, cover mouth and nose, then take off clothes inside in
That's-
shelter.
That sucks.
In your shelter
Ah.
spot. Carefully make sure whatever you do not have a cut or cut yourself while taking it off if you're stressing and you hit your arm, because obviously
Oh.
exposed blood and then radiation.
Oh, and cover your
common sense.
asshole as well while you're at it, because apparently, the tissue on the inside of your asshole is very, it immediately gets into the bloodstream. So,
Yeah, put a butt plug in.
Fingers up. Fingers up the ass, people.
Just put some duct tape over your butthole. Problem solved. Top tip.
I'm like all our listeners after this episode airs. If ever a nuclear situation, you're immediately gonna recognize them. They're the naked people with fingers up their asses.
Hey, but they're surviving, man.
Yeah.
That's all that fucking matters.
Okay, get
And
to
us
your
three-
questions so I
Okay.
can rape Andy some more.
Okay, well,
No.
Okay, this is a yes/no. If you're exposed to the fallout, can you? Okay, so after you take off your clothes, of course you should wash yourself with water.
Wait. Okay, so I was following the points of these questions. All right. I just noticed this, by the way. I was following the points, and I was thinking to myself, oh, if I just write, your name is Ali, my name is Andy, so if I put AA, I don't know who's is who. So I decided to put the first letters of our names, which is basically A-N-A-L. So I'm scoring anal at the moment,
Yes,
which I just
nice.
noticed. This is the best thing ever.
Nice.
All right, sorry.
It's all good.
It just spells anal at my... Okay.
See, dude,
That's
it's all looping
me
back to
being
putting
6
things
years
in your
old
butthole.
again.
It's all looping back to things and butts.
All right, sorry for that interruption.
So, of course, after you're exposed and you take your clothes off and you bag them up, you should wash yourself with water very thoroughly
Yeah.
to try and remove anything. If you're exposed to the fallout, can you use soap to wash yourself?
No.
Andy says no.
I would say no too.
Both wrong. You can use soap. Soap is okay. So no points. Still
Wait,
4-2 to Ali.
soap helps wash off radiation?
Yeah, soap is fine. To get rid of the dust,
I
it's
thought
okay.
you need to have... Oh, yeah, like the dust, but does it, like, help with the radiation?
I don't think
Does
it
get
helps.
the
I bet it's
radiation
more
up?
you can use it to clean yourself. Because obviously, if you
Okay.
instinctually, you're probably going to try and use soap to clean your body, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. You can do that.
Okay.
Now, can you use shampoo?
No.
I'd guess, yeah.
Andy gets a point. Yes, you can use
Yeah,
shampoo.
all
Shampoo is
right,
fine.
yeah.
4-3. He's bringing it back. Game on. Can you use conditioner?
Yes.
No.
Ali is correct. You cannot use conditioner.
Oh, fuck off.
Ali goes to 5-3 because the conditioner will bond with the dust particles and then attach it to your scalp. And
Yeah.
Oh, but this is a beauty
That was-
question, and you know shit.
No, but that was my theory on the first two ones. So, because
Alright,
usually
okay,
there
cool.
are elements they can bind in
Yeah.
soap and
that's,
shampoo, but in conditioner,
conditioner
I
will
know
do
for a
that.
fact that it bonds.
Yep. Conditioner will bond. Oh, Andy, you got... Oh, actually, you got 3 more because I accidentally said, well, so I'm going to have to make up another question. You got 3 questions to bring it back. You're 2 points down. Otherwise, that fish is... And if you guys draw at the
I
end, I'm going to just
really
keep doing
don't wanna-
questions until someone loses.
Yeah.
Okay. So you asked about how dangerous this radiation is, like, and when the dust when it starts falling. So here is a question about that. After the fallout has begun falling, so the dust is coming down, how much has the radiation decayed after 1 hour? So like, how much has the radiation levels dropped
Yes.
within the first hour, after an hour? 25%, 50%, 75, or 95%? And this is the percent less radioactive than it was
What
initially.
was the least one? 20,
25
25, 50, 75,
and
90.
95.
Wait, hold on. How radioactive is the dust still
Once it's settled on the ground.
glowing towards the outside, or is this included what goes in your body?
No, this is just an hour after the explosion, and the dust is whatever.
Yeah.
Because you know how radiation has a half-life, right? And like it decays over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So how much percentage of the radioactive energy has been lost in that hour? Because as radiation, the radiation level.
All right,
will
I'm
drop.
gonna go out on a limb because I don't know why you would go as high as 95. I'm gonna go on a limb. And I'm gonna probably eat the fish anyway. Fucking 95.
95 for Andy.
I would say 75.
75. Both wrong. 50%.
It is 50.
After the first hour, it will be
Okay, so-
half as dangerous as it was
still got a
in the
chance
first
here.
explosion. So Andy has to get the next 2 and Ali none because she's up 5-3.
What happens if it's an equal?
It is pretty equal. After 2 weeks.
Yeah, but what happens
Sorry?
if we both end like we can only end on 5 points each now? So what happens with a tie?
Oh, I will just ask and I'll make up another question.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, he'd probably eaten the fish, let's face it. Okay.
Fuck you.
So
All right.
2 weeks later, how much has the radiation decayed? So now the radiation levels are, it's had 2 weeks to settle. Time goes on. Is it 75%, 87, 92, or 99%?
87.
87 says Andy.
92.
92 says Ali. Well, you're both wrong, but Ali is the winner because it's 99%. Actually, after 2 weeks, the radiation levels dropped 99%.
Well, fuck me up.
It can
man.
still be that 1% is still incredibly
Yeah.
dangerous, keep in mind, but it's just nowhere near as dangerous.
I was
So,
surprised how much it actually dropped just like within that first hour.
Yeah.
And even after 2 weeks, because it's still extremely dangerous. But
So the gamma radiation levels dropped 99%. I did say there was one more question. I don't know if we really need it, mind you.
just saying, just to rub it in. A
Why
bit
I need them.
Yeah, for the people that are listening, apparently next week is gonna be a very interesting episode because I'm gonna be eating disgusting fish.
Yeah.
Whatever you do not open it inside.
No.
You,
Yeah, I have no option, Ali.
No, you have to do it outside down. You're going to die otherwise. It's illegal to open those cans
You know
inside.
what? Could I be nice to Andy? Could I give him a chance, Batman?
No.
Or do you just want him? He's lost.
No, let's give him a chance.
All right.
No. Look, I lost. I'm fine with losing. Like, I can take it like a man. I'm not a pussy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for this little fucking outro, but
You suck.
yeah, something I don't know, like maybe it was computer, maybe it was me, I don't know, but something happened. But basically, I told you guys about a very cool light I had, and there was some other shit that was said as well. I can't remember.
Yeah, you missed the whole point when we started a game and you lost to me again.
Yeah.
No,
So
look.
we decided to do one more question, even though Andy had lost.
Yeah.
So we lost part of the last 10 minutes of his audio.
Yeah.
So it was like a quiz on how many items could they name from like a survival kit.
Yeah, and I won.
And,
I won. It's just...
Andy lost 3-2 to Ali. They tried to list 5 of them. Ali got 3, Andy got 2.
I did bring 5 good books from Harry Potter though, so I
Andy.
think I should get some points for that.
Andy,
Yep.
just say that I'm better than you.
You're better than me, and I'm gonna eat fish.
Should I quickly tell what was on the list? Did they recommend or not bother?
You know what? You know,
No, just
we
run through it.
care. No,
Run
we
through it.
care about the safety of our fucking audience. Fucking tell
All
them
right.
what should they put in it.
So
Very
if you want to
quickly.
make a kit to survive, this is like the first 3 days, let's call it.
Yes.
So water, a gallon per person per day. I think a gallon's like 4.5 liters or something. I don't know. Use real numbers, the US. Come on. You're better than that. Obviously food, like cans of food. Battery
but with
powered.
the food stuff, it has to be sealed so nothing fresh,
Yeah, well,
because
obviously.
it can get exposed to gamma rams and stuff.
Battery powered radio so that you can listen into any emergency broadcast from your government. A flashlight, a first aid kit, spare batteries, a whistle so that if say you're in the collapsed building and your shelter's underground, you can blow a whistle. If you have any well, Andy's like making out with a hand puppet, sock puppet on camera. If you join our
I'm
Discord,
sorry.
you can see this shit for yourself.
I'm sorry, that just happened. I'm sorry.
He literally made out with his kid's toy. I'm a bit concerned. So yeah, have a whistle so if you get stuck underground because debris on
Yeah.
top of your shelter,
Yeah.
you can blow it. Emergency services may find you if they even come. Obviously, a dust mask, or like a plastic sheet and some tape so that you can seal up the building. Batman's watching porn. Wet toilet, garbage bags, a wrench or pliers. I guess
Yeah,
like a
wet
basic
toilet.
tool,
Yeah,
multi-tool.
wet papers to clean yourself up and all that shit. And yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, a manual can opener so you can open the cans, but don't use an electric one. like a
or
fucking
as
idiot.
I said, a Swiss knife, so you can
Yeah,
have
Swiss Army
different
knife,
things,
yeah.
which could have been more points, but you guys decided to make it only 1 point. So like, I'll live
Yeah.
with that.
True. Maps, like a physical map of the local area.
Yeah.
A cell phone with a charger and backup batteries,
Yeah.
which we were actually discussing that most phones these days you can't change the batteries, but at least bring the charger.
Yeah, and that's why I told you guys about my very cool light, which can charge cell phones and shit like that. And if you wanted to see what was on that show, you should have joined their Discord server, which we have going, and you could find a link in the description down below. So fucking click on it if you want to see every week what we're up to. Every Sunday we're recording, and you can see me make out with a little toy lion, and you can see my very cool light, and we can answer
Can
questions
you do
from...
that again?
What?
Can you make out with that thing again?
And on that note, I guess if you want to follow us on Instagram and see that video, I hope this is not going viral at any rate. But if you want to see that video, you can find us at @random.podcast. That is at.random.podcast. And our Twitter handle is
AT_randompod. Hit us up, bitches. And Andy just checked out. His computer is committing suicide because he doesn't like being a loser. Boomers and technology kids.
Yeah. So, thank you all for listening. And, have a great week. Do good in the world and buy your own fucking flashlight with USB port so you can charge your phone and buy your 5 Harry Potter books so you can stay alive and survive. And make out lions, people. Lions need our help. They're going extinct, and I'm making sure they don't.
Chimera.
Looking so good.
I like it.
Stop mentioning chimeras, Alex.
Well, dude, he's in an irradiated zone. He's banging lions. Chimeras happen, you know?
Yeah,
Shit
yeah.
happens. Nature finds a way. Did you know watch Jurassic
does
Park?
Find a way. Man, this toy is disgusting. I should clean my mouth, definitely.
And on that note, we'll see you next time.
Bye.